Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for August 21st. August 21st is the 233rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 234th in leap years, with 132 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is coup d'etat. Coup d'etat comes to us from French and refers to a sudden, violent seizure of power. Usually refers to the removal of an existing government, usually through violent means. A coup d'etat is typically an illegal, unconstitutional seizure of power by a political faction or the military or a dictator. The literal translation from French means blow of state. And with that, we're going to start on August 21st, 1680, when Pueblo Indians captured Santa Fe from the Spanish. This was during the Pueblo Revolt. On August 21st, 1770, James Cook formally claimed Eastern Australia for Great Britain, naming it New South Wales. On August 21st, 1772, King Gustav III completed his coup d'etat by adopting a new constitution, ending half a century of parliamentary rule in Sweden and installing himself as what was called an enlightened despot. Seems like a funny term, doesn't it? Well, an enlightened despot, or enlightened absolutist, is a non-democratic or authoritarian leader who exercises their political power based upon the principles of the Enlightenment. Enlightened monarchs distinguish themselves from ordinary rulers by claiming to rule for their subjects' well-being. Maybe they do. They probably think they do. On August 21st, 1810, Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte, Marshal of France, was elected Crown Prince of Sweden by the Swedish Riksdag of the Estates. Marshal of France, by the way, was a French military distinction rather than a military rank. On August 21st, 1888, the first successful adding machine in the United States was patented by William Seward Burroughs. Burroughs office equipment. On August 21st, 1897, the American automobile manufacturer Oldsmobile was founded. On August 21st, 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen by a Louvre employee, Vincenza Peruggia. This is the birthday of American basketball player and coach Wilt Chamberlain, born August 21st, 1936. He lived to the age of 63. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer, and actor Kenny Rogers, born August 21st, 1938. He lived to the age of 81. On August 1st, 1945, physicist Harry Daghlian was fatally irradiated in an accident involving an uncontrolled nuclear fission chain reaction during an experiment with what is now known as the Demon Core, Los Alamos National Laboratory. The Demon Core was a 3.5-inch, 14-pound ball of plutonium, originally intended to be used in a third atomic bomb to be dropped on Japan, but Japan surrendered, so the building of that third bomb was unnecessary. So instead, they kept it for experiments. After this event in 1945, and then a second one in 1946, the spherical plutonium core came to be known as the Demon Core. 3.5 inches is like about that big, about a little bit wider than my hand. 14 pounds. Plutonium is heavy. This is the birthday of American musician Steve Smith, born August 21st, 1954. He's best known as a drummer for the band Journey, although he has played with and for many other bands and musical artists throughout his life. Modern Drummer magazine readers voted him as the #1 all-round drummer 5 years in a row, and he's been named one of the top 25 drummers of all time. On August 21st, 1959, President Eisenhower signed the executive order proclaiming Hawaii to be the 50th state of the Union. Welcome to the USA, Hawaii. This is the birthday of Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt, born August 21st, 1986. That guy is one fast sprinter, sure enough. On August 21st, 1991, an attempted coup against Mikhail Gorbachev collapsed. NASA lost contact with the Mars Observer spacecraft on August 21st, 1993. On August 21st, 2000, Tiger Woods won the 82nd PGA Championship and became the first golfer since Ben Hogan in 1953 to win 3 majors in a calendar year. On January 8, 1947, a baby boy named David Robert Jones was born in London, England. He developed an interest in music as a child and studied art, music, and design. He formed a band in 1962 when he was 15 years old. His original band members didn't have the burn for success like David did, and he moved on without them. His first few records were not commercially successful. It would be that several puzzle pieces had to fall into place for him. He needed to embark on a solo career, write and perform his own songs under a new name. And so it is that we know him as David Bowie. Along with that new name came the creation of a persona. In 1969, he released the song Space Oddity, interestingly, 5 days before the Apollo 11 launch. He went on tour as Ziggy Stardust in the early 70s, and the 70s being the 70s, he at first flirted with and then became addicted to cocaine. Fortunately, he found recovery and got clean and sober, else his star would have burned out before we could have really come to appreciate his unique expression of creativity. I love his collaborative works, for example, such as Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy with Bing Crosby, Under Pressure with Queen, and Changes with Butterfly Boucher for Shrek 2. And we haven't even talked about the narrations, the acting roles. He narrated Peter and the Wolf in 1978, played the man who fell to earth in 1976, performed in the Broadway theater production of The Elephant Man in 1980 and 1981, and one that came to be a cult film, and my favorite, he played Jareth, the Goblin King in Labyrinth. So many more acting performances, and we can't be here all day, but I will say that in August of 2015, he was working on songs for a Broadway musical based on the SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon series. In December of 2015, his musical Lazarus debuted in New York. His last public appearance was at the opening night of that production. Sadly, David Bowie died on his 69th birthday, January 10th of 2016, of liver cancer. One of the most influential musicians of the 20th century and a remarkable human being, David Bowie. May he rest in peace. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.